Okay, so if I give you a little boost, that's either some sort of apple or like a grenade.
Hey, you gotta be able to reach it.
Do you think it's a grenade? Hold on.
Okay, wait. Dickie, I've got this foot. You get the other one.
You're gonna have to do that on your own, actually, Dan. Because over here, look at that. That's like some sort of like.
Someone help me, please.
That's like some sort of tree gun, though.
Please.
That's way cooler.
I'm touching it.
What do you touch? Oh, I'm gonna.
It's a cluster bomb.
Don't pick it up.
Too late.
Hello and welcome everybody to Lore Dive 004. We're talking about equipment, weapons, gear, attacks, and defense this time. I'm your Dungeon Master Dick, and with me today is the cackling. The cackling, the quackling?
Quackling.
It's Taylor.
Yeah, the crispiest.
And the giggling and the pigling.
Wow.
Daniel.
Yes, it is me. I'm here and giggling away. And leading us through this lore dive, we have the yokeling. The what's another word for yokeling? The Taylor.
I
didn't hear that.
I just did like a noise like bleh.
The yokeling and the
Invigorating.
The invigorating DM Dick Dynamite. How are you doing?
The potato chip.
I'm so good.
Oh,
good.
Vitreous.
You
Granular.
really froze up on that one.
Don't worry, no one heard that. That's been
Pulvering.
deleted. The gap's been done.
So here we are, guys. We're going to cover a brand new topic. This one's, this covers a lot of in-game lore. It's also going to cover like just what the bastards can do, what the bastards could have been able to do, but also just how weapons, gear, attackings, different kinds of attacks work in this universe, both in terms of gameplay,
It's a very hands-on
and in
episode.
terms of lore. Yeah. So I guess we need to get into this. The Orbital Refuse Galaxy is a heavily armed one. Although the three empires are no longer at war, there is still a lot of armed conflict to be had. Starships with blaster guns and shields and torpedoes, hand blasters, rifles, energy blades, energy whips, energy staves, energy knuckles, psychic attacks, both telepathic and telekinetic, vicious alien secretions. There's all manner of ways that the inhabitants of the Backwater Bastards world can deal damage to one another, and we are going to talk about those myriad of ways. So with all these different ways to harm, injure, and murder one another, it's a surprise that the bastards are actually as uninjured and unmurderous as they have been. But I guess the only thing left to talk about is how they can do it. What do the bastards have? What do the bastards miss out on? What do they have to deal with? What dangers are lurking around every corner?
Fuck.
A lot.
Let's talk about it.
Let's get into it.
So...
Oh, Tay, I don't think we want to
is-
find out about this. I think we want to keep it. It works for us so far.
Ignorance is bliss.
Once
Ignorance
we know,
is
we
bliss.
know. You know?
Exactly.
I quite like unloading some of the stuff on you guys, though, because it's every single time I see the little eyes lighting up, like, oh, we can use that. Now you know a bit more about synths and
This was
wraiths,
like when we found out that the Dan was like the worst kind of psychic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I stopped that guy from getting a job upgrade, a raise, as it were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Promotion is the other word.
But like how much more excited we are about both like Zuzu and the Night
heck, man!
City
I want to start the whole
having
podcast
gotten a
over
little
straight
bit.
again. Let's be wraiths and synths next time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like once we sort of start going through like weapons and attacks and stuff, you're gonna It's going to be inspiring as to like, what gear you want next, or like
Right.
what side characters we bring in. Like, 'cause
Okay.
as well, like it gives you guys ideas, but also like if I see your ears, your eyes and ears perking
Eyes
up.
and ears. Up
both
here,
of them,
buddy.
just whole lot of perking.
It's like
Taylor's
what are
tongue
those,
perking up as well. Apparently,
What are those faces? What do
Yeah.
they mean?
That's how you know Tay's into it.
No,
The
but
tongue comes out.
Then I start thinking like, okay, well, this is I got to tuck some of this into the story with
All
my
right.
with the NPCs.
Okay.
Are you ready to metagame?
I'm ready to meta
metagame.
So, should we start weapons?
Let's start
Let's
with
start
weapons.
weapons.
Yeah.
Orbital Refuse has a really simple weapon proficiency system. When you're choosing your advantages and disadvantages, you can either have all of your proficiencies be unaltered. Like the default character, you just like, you roll Z20, no plus, no minus. That's that. Or you can choose to be good at it, have an advantage. You get a flat +5. You can choose to be bad at it. You get a flat -5.
Oh, no.
And that's it. That's it. So, and then there are just 5 kinds of weapons. There's
Oh, yeah?
blaster pistols, aka one-handed range weapons.
Okay.
Blaster rifles, aka two-handed range weapons.
Yes.
Energy blades, one-handed melee weapons. Energy staves, two-handed melee weapons.
Oh.
Or unarmed fighting, hand to hand.
And the lovely little fisticuffs motion you did there on camera for us.
I love it.
And that's it. Like, as far as I'm concerned, any weapon that you're going to come across can fit into one of those. In terms of how the game system works. Obviously, in the real world, like this thing, if you want to be like really good at like energy nunchucks or something, it's probably quite specialized training involved in that. But we kind of gloss over that. We kind of see like if your character is like some sort of, like space monk who uses nunchucks, then yeah, you that can just come under your energy blades, it just works for you. We haven't really come across any weapons yet, I guess. I've felt any need to enforce any sort of special rules around, but it could happen, couldn't it?
I don't know. What about that energy whip that I got?
The energy whip, because the energy whip does have like, it's got some different physics to it, doesn't it? Like it's the sort of
I
thing
have
where
never used it, I think.
it's an energy blade weapon, but it feels like, depending on how you describe your attacks with it, you could do some interesting things with it. So that one, I mean, if Cleo does ever blast it out, it's going to be interesting. And I mean, she's a weapons specialist.
Yeah.
So technically, Cleo should be able to use it with a +5.
But do you need any kind of proficiency to use a weapon, or could you just pick one out?
Well, unlike some games, you do not. You can pick up any old thing and use it.
Any old thing?
You'll
Heck
be
yes.
and you'll be relatively okay at it. Because in this world, there's a real democratization of weapons. They've all got aiming systems built into them. None of them have got like tricky mechanisms that can fail. They're all just like, you jam in a fucking battery with an energy source and off you go.
I do love that sound effect.
So yeah, like you don't need to have the proficiency. It makes a big difference, especially like because of how Orbital Refuse works with contested rolls. So if you're rolling with a +0 or with a -5 even, it makes it very easy for someone to just dodge out of the way or parry or whatever it is they choose to do. So it's definitely, it's worth your while picking up at least one weapon proficiency or something similar. I mean, we'll get into that later, but like you could have like alien powers that are offensive abilities. You could use telekinesis or telepathy as your offensive powers. There's always other ways to fight. And also, I'm a big fan of, in role-playing games, like you don't have to make a combat character. Sometimes it could be more interesting to make that character who's like a bit more of like a stealthy spy who's like, okay, you guys fight and I'll sneak around and shut off their shield. Why not have a character who's completely non-confrontational but really good at that sort of thing? So I don't know. That said, it does help. It does help to be able to like shoot a gun or whack someone with an energy stick.
Oh, I love the non-confrontational characters. I think they're brilliant. So, now I want to know, when you start the game, when you're starting off from scratch, what are the available starter weapons? What are you getting options to?
I've got a list right in front of me here. So let's have a look. Let's have a look here. These are the starting weapons in my my original documentation for Orbital Refuse. We've got a blaster, which is a one-handed 1d6 damage range weapon.
Okay.
We've got a rifle, which is a two-handed 1d8 damage range weapon. An energy blade, It's a one-handed 1d6 melee weapon. The energy staff, and you're going to see a pattern here, it's a two-handed 1d8 damage melee weapon, or energy gloves. And they are essentially like a one-handed unarmed weapon that allows you to do 1d6 damage with it. And that's a flavor thing, because it's basically like if you want to do like a punchy character, but you wanted to like up your damage without having some sort of alien reason why you can deal lethal damage with your fists, then
You got a knuckle duster on.
some sort of energy knuckle duster energy. I mean, and that's one of the things with this design is I kept it really simple in terms of, because everyone's got really flat hit point amounts and really flat skill amounts, like the weapons need to do really flat damage amounts as well. So basically, when I'm setting up a character, when these guys decide to make a character, for example, you tell me what you want. I'm like, cool, that fits into one of these 5 things.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make it that. Visually, we're going to describe it being a bit different, and the way it functions, in a role-play sense, are going to be very specific to this weapon. But functionally, when we do a fight, you're gonna roll a dice. You're gonna add or subtract that 5. You're gonna then roll another dice for damage, and we're done.
Yeah.
And I think it does allow for a lot of creativity in terms of what you get to have.
Oh yeah. No, definitely. And it's really fun for the old roleplay as well.
I just keep thinking about energy gloves.
Energy gloves.
Because somehow that's one that we did not. Nobody that we've played with has had
That's
it.
true, actually. Yeah.
Didn't you try to do energy gloves at one point, like later on? Or am I making that up? I feel like they came up at some point.
I don't think it was so.
People are always interested by energy gloves, and I think you technically did give. Didn't M8 technically have some form of energy gloves?
Probably. I wanted M8 to originally be super, super melee punchy.
Yeah,
But that was
an early iteration.
That was early M8 because M8 really went through. Once we started
through it.
playing,
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like that happens, right? Like you make a character and you
100%,
think
yeah.
you know who
Yeah.
they are, and then you play and you're like, no, they've actually decided who they
I
are.
think this is an
Yeah.
interesting.
It's not up
like,
to me.
Yeah.
There's a weird little metagaming advantage, like because if you take hand-to-hand combat as your skill, it means you can punch the shit out of people even without your energy gloves and do a bunch of damage.
Yeah.
I think it was 1d4 damage or something, as I recall. I should probably get this right, shouldn't I?
Because Cleo
checking
has
his notes.
Bear Claw,
Yeah.
which is almost like an inherent energy glove in a way.
Well,
but
that's what I was saying. Like Cleo literally
Yeah.
does have the alien power to not need an energy glove.
Cleo's just got the juice.
She does 1d6 damage with her claws, which I think is fair.
yeah, it's pretty fair. And
Well, no one
whenever
wants to
I do
argue
it,
with Cleo about it, so I think it's staying.
They don't.
Yeah,
And
but
there's a
she's
reason.
and like as a weapons master. So, but I was going to say then, but it's kind of balanced out because say like it kind of makes it like, well, I might as well just take energy glove rather than energy blade then because I've got that added advantage. If I'm a hand-to-hand specialist, I can still punch people without them if I lose them.
Yeah.
But then you're missing out on that whole thing of they're not very common weapons just in terms of like their weird nicheness. You're more likely to find a sword on the ground than an energy glove.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah.
what about when you see a shoe on the ground?
Yes.
Well, I mean, we haven't added shoe proficiency yet, but if we're going to need to, then
No, because then I'll have to start adding sound effects for shoes all the time, and it'll be.
all the time. I mean, if Cleo had like a special shoe that she was always thwacking people with, you would just have to add that sound.
And it would be called Barefoot.
Oh, I love it. We should probably add it. It's pretty good.
We have to do
It's
it now.
really
I'm going to put
good.
my bare foot on you. People are like, no.
I love that.
Please
I think the
help.
thing is, like Cleo's feet, like she's got bear claws there as well.
Where are we
Yeah.
going
So I think
with
she
this?
can deal
Where
the
are we going
damage, but I
with
think
this?
also because she is a bear, she's got
Yeah.
short little legs, so she's not very good at kicking.
Hey, look.
Oh, so in that situation where Bart and Lisa are walking towards each other and throwing it out.
Yeah, and Cleo, I think, is definitely much more of an arm
punching.
swinger
Yeah,
than a
the
kicker.
arm
Okay,
swinging,
but
the
have you
windmill.
ever seen when a dog, okay, just hang in there.
Okay.
When a dog goes into the grass to do a poo, and then and a little dog, and it starts like ripping up the ground after.
Oh, it's vicious.
What
Yeah, but
if Cleo could probably do that?
they do that with their front feet, though,
And it's
don't they?
underneath them as well.
Sometimes it's the whole dog.
Yeah, so I
doing
think if Cleo was on top of someone, then yeah. But
She could,
if
like,
Well,
you
she's
rank.
just do
like
it
kicking them like a cat, like doing that cat kick.
Somebody in the Discord today was talking about how bears are not like ripping; they're just like breaking spines with their.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're just that powerful. They're that
They're
heavy.
so
And that's
powerful.
some of the
muscular.
glorious Discord chat you could be a part of if you click the join
could
the
be a part of
Discord
that.
link in the show notes. That's just the type of shit we chat about.
Where
daily.
is it? A Discord?
It's
How
in
do
the
you
show
get into
notes.
that?
Show notes. The
Show notes. Dang,
Show notes.
It's in the
check
show
those
notes.
out.
It's in the show notes,
What else
yeah.
is in the show notes? A lot.
Patreon stuff, links to
A
us, our
lot.
personal accounts, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you could lurk
Yeah,
us.
check out the
It's
show
fun.
notes.
Check out the show notes.
all right.
Jeez.
I want to know.
So speaking of Cleo's
yeah.
capacities, I guess.
No, I was gonna
Yeah.
ask
Yeah,
that question.
speaking
No.
of Cleo,
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
be
ask,
quiet,
ask
Dan.
away.
Be quiet.
I was going to say.
I'll
Sorry,
allow
Taylor,
it.
but I'm going to speak.
I don't know about this.
What weapons do the bastards have? Cleo has a custom blaster rifle that we know of, explosive kits, things like this. And Z has an energy blade and a shield projector. But what else do they have?
Well,
That's
maybe
it.
you want to
No.
cover each is you cover your own character sheets, and then I can provide supplementary information.
No, don't make this our work. This is meant to be dick work.
Oh, I see.
Do the dick work. No. Okay, here's the thing about my stuff that I
Okay.
have to talk about.
Yeah.
I have been using the custom blaster rifle. By the way, it's custom. I don't know if
It
you
is
got
custom.
that. It's
It's
in the name
custom.
custom. It's custom. Do you know what that means? It means nobody else has one. And
Yeah.
here's the problem. It's not named.
No, it's just Cleo's custom blaster
No, but
rifle.
I love the idea that the name of it is Cleo's custom blaster rifle, and you've written that on the gun, and it just
Oh, wait.
instead
Have
of
we already
like,
talked about this?
we have already talked
Cleo's
about this.
custom.
I feel
yeah.
like I have this conversation like once every 6 months where I'm like, it doesn't have a name, but it does have a name. It's the name.
But I don't know, like Cleo has never been one to like.
love
She
it.
makes a bunch of explosives, and she doesn't name them. Like she's not. You
I
know.
did name them at
It's not like
Begeman's.
Jinx, you know, like Jinx has like got a name for every single one.
Yeah. No, I mean, I
Jinx
like.
from Arcane.
Yes, sorry, I did assume that everyone was following there.
I mean, that's
If you
quite
haven't,
an
you should check
assumption.
it out. It's a good
quite
show.
an assumption.
Brilliant show.
I mean, I don't know. I like to talk more about what the things can do than like giving them an identity. Does that make sense? Because it's like it's
Yeah.
gonna be gone. It's like an.
Well,
it's
that's why I've never
consumable.
got any impression that Cleo has emotional attachments to her toys and things. I think she
Yeah.
just likes having stuff.
I
'cause
think
it's cool.
she's impressed by like when they do a cool thing,
Yeah.
but it's more like an appreciation of the craft than it
Well,
is.
it's also, I mean,
of the,
is it because like she grew up poor? You know, like it's
Yeah.
the sort of thing of she likes the nice stuff, sure, but.
yeah, it's about
Because
the
I think
journey.
like, it is actually like having like this is Christine. I've had her for this long. Like naming your gun or naming your car or something is actually a bit more of a rich kid thing
It is though.
because you've had this
That's
nice
why I
thing for a
can't
long
do it.
time.
Yeah.
You've had it for so long that you've forged an attachment to it. You know?
I don't have nice shit. Oh my god, that's dark. Okay,
So Cleo's
well,
custom blaster rifle. Yeah,
I've
it
got
says-
the
it does,
blaster rifle with shield piercing though.
it does shield piercing. Yeah,
It does,
I was gonna say.
and I have the ghost axe now, which is a
Also
new
has
addition
shield piercing.
Ooh.
that I
you're
almost
a-
forgot. Yeah,
A threat to tanks now.
basically. And of course, I always have the explosive kits, which you can just expect from
Just
me at
never
this
ending.
point.
Hmm.
And so like that means that at any given moment, like I could have a bomb on me. You don't know.
Well, the
You don't
line
know.
I like to look out for at any moment when we're in a kind of safe spot is Cleo will say, I look to arm and my or together reagents. How do you say it? You say reagents.
Is that not a word?
I'd never heard reagents until you said it, and now when I hear
Is it
I'm
not a
like,
word?
Cleo's getting rearmed.
I think it is reagents because if you say regents, it sounds
I
like it's
just-
a bunch of kings hanging out together.
It's one of the-
yeah.
It's honestly one of those words that I know because of playing video games, but I've never actually heard anybody say it.
I'd never heard it until you started saying it, so now when I hear it, I'm like, Cleo's getting armed.
Cleo's getting some
shit.
juice. It's juice time. And I also, okay, so here's another thing that I used to have that I don't know what happened to. I have a mobile turret,
Mm.
but
I think-
I don't remember what
Yeah, it
happened
is
to
reagents. I've just looked it up.
I think the
Okay,
mobile
good.
turret got used at one point, though, right?
I don't remember.
Well, it's now on the battle train.
Yes.
Ah, okay, that's where it is. Cool. And I've got the yellow energy staff whip from
Oh,
the
yeah.
bandit camp,
Yes.
circa Trevor
So
Yeah.
much
First
stuff.
episode.
That's a
Still a
freaking
bit of a
cool
hex,
weapon.
aren't
You can
you? Still a bit of
understand
a
why Cleo might want to pocket that. It's cool.
I
It's like-
found it on the ground.
It doesn't have
which-
necessarily a specific use for it, but like if all the things that you might loot from someone that you just beaten, I get
For
why you might
everyone who
take that.
has listened to Ralaran, which was our D&D 5th edition campaign,
Yeah.
which we will revisit at some point.
Yeah.
Taylor played a character called Hakes who was very into stealing shinies. And now that I'm hearing about all the gear that Taylor's got on her person, I'm thinking that Hakes maybe never left because
I don't know what you mean by
You've
that
got a
because
bunch of gear.
We've got this whole thing of like Cleo, like I'm gonna get a thing, you know, I'm gonna get
I'm
a
very
take.
resourceful. I
You
like
are.
to keep things
Yes.
because you need them.
I think there is that the bringing, isn't there? Like there's that whole.
That's true. Yeah.
That's part of her origin. It's part of her thing.
she's a
It's like
scavenger.
you go
Yeah.
somewhere, you scavenge a thing,
Hell yes.
you rip off Dietz's arm, and you take it with you. You
Yeah.
know, like
But I love
I
ever
don't
since
think-
the very beginning, she's
that,
always done
that
a bit
works
of
with
that.
Tay's creativity as a person because all these little things. I mean, and I'm sure anyone would be able to come up with stuff, for uses. But I'm always
Dan's
amazed
like,
with the
anybody
uses
could
that
probably
you.
do it, but they won't.
No, but I love the ways that you come up with the uses for this stuff, and
it's really
always
for
so
me,
interesting.
right? Because like that's the whole thing. Like the more shit that I squirrel away, the more stuff I have in my arsenal when I want to do an
to
improvised weapon
your
moment.
moments, the best Tay moments. Are
The moment,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
The moment. But also
I
like
pull out from my little bag. Bang.
yes, baby.
Just like,
yes.
Yeah, it's so
but that's
good.
the thing. Like I've been poor. All my characters are poor because I don't know enough about being rich to do that. But maybe that's the thing. It's like one day I have to play a rich, horrible little piece of shit character because I've never done it before.
I mean, I've now realized if you want to do like a rich, horrible piece of shit, you got to have this lovely, elegant blaster pistol that you've given a name to. Like that's
Christine.
Wait, every fantasy has the sword that's got a name and has a personality. Wait, I just realized Herodotus had Digsby.
yeah.
Wow.
Or was it?
Okay,
what,
Dilbert.
wait, was it?
Sorry, not Digsby, Dilbert.
Digsby is
That's-
a good name though.
Digsby's a
Digsby
great
is a
name.
good name.
But
Shit.
Dilbert, I mean.
Redo.
Yeah.
Now
Oh
he's
my
got like
God,
the
Herodotus is-
he has a
Herodotus, Herodotus,
plentiful
yeah.
pantry. Well, he was a rich kid.
He
you know?
was, and that's true. So your theory stands because he did choose from his stats when he made his character to be a wealthy
Yeah,
character.
he did.
So
Oh my God, the theory is airtight, baby.
theory is airtight.
From a sample size of 2. No, 3, because you count. You didn't name your thing.
I haven't named anything yet.
No, so let's
What do
let's
you
look
have?
at
Oh,
what
wait, I
Z's
have
got.
named my ship. The ship's called the Fishbowl. Does that count?
That's different. That's different.
I think you're allowed to name a ship. I think
Yeah,
ship
you're
has
a-
to have a name.
That's different.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't name a car, but you name a ship.
I feel like a ship, yeah,
Well-
like a ship has to have like a name, right? But
Well, it's a
I-
bit more nautical, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
Every time I buy a computer, I name those.
oh, yeah, but you want to hang out with them every day, you know?
Yeah,
that's
and
I
you
think that's
have
a little
to
bit
name
of
it
like
so that you can find it on
projecting into your
Bluetooth.
sci-fi like fantasy lifestyle of like, hello Reese, what are we doing today? You know?
So Z, you did mention energy blades.
Yes, so
Yeah.
I have an energy blade, I have a personal shield projector, I have a shotgun, and I think that, and then I have my way of hacking into devices, which is just
I mean,
through
you
my
are
body.
you are missing the fact that Z actually, circa K2K2, has 6 energy blades now.
What?
He's got
true.
energy blade like spot
No,
points
don't
That's
tell me
right.
that. Is that real?
that he can pop out anywhere on the honey boy and zoom out like a porcupine.
I remember this now.
I
You used
remember
that
this
attack
now.
once.
Oh my
I don't know why it's not written down there on your
could have
character
been
sheet,
using
but
this whole time.
Z has 6 energy blades and he
Taylor.
can use them all concurrently.
Look, baby, I forgot, and I know that you did this move like when we first got it,
I
and then
completely
I
forgot as well. Oh, I can
forgot.
guarantee I'm using this soon, though.
This is a come to
I'm
Jesus
glad we
meeting
do
for
these
us.
episodes.
This is embarrassing.
This is so bad. I'm like,
There haven't
honestly
really
thought it was
been many
fun.
times, or really any times,
Think
where
you
he
can't
would
make
have
it better.
made good use of it. But like,
Just
you know?
whatever.
I can
Oh,
turn
so the one
myself into a
time that
jelly
we used it
porcupine.
was shitty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh
or
my
like a sea
days.
urchin, maybe.
Dick,
Like it's.
oh my God, Dan, that was why you did it too, because you were like, I want to be a porcupine. Oh,
I want to be a
frick.
porcupine.
Okay,
Well,
you
I
know
mean,
what?
I'm so glad that we've got this to refresh my dumb memory.
Look, okay, we have the memory of a goldfish. Do you remember how many times Dick had to tell me that I could not have a credit card?
This is true. I think he still sometimes says that you're not.
No,
an
I
elder.
have not had this forever. There was
Wait,
like a
wait,
moment
but we
where
could
I
go
cut
back
it out.
to D&D 5th edition, where every time there was a roll, the entire party. I'd like to say that I wasn't privy to this most. I didn't do this
Dan,
most of the time.
Whatever.
The entire party would say, "Can I have advantage?
I'd try and give some random
Can
justification
I have
for
advantage
it.
because I ate a sandwich today and my character is pretty vigorous."
Hey, okay, but like that's the thing though. Like if you have a good enough reason, like maybe.
Fair enough. You gotta
Maybe.
you gotta have a good DM though, or not a good DM. You have to have a pliable
ADM.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, I mean, that's Z has always gone with the basics of the melee, but he's had that shotgun since I think episode 0, doesn't he? When he
I
tucked
lose
that
it
away.
pretty quick.
Mm.
But I kind of tend to rely on the old hacks. Try and go for the environmental kill.
Ye old
Yeah, and then of
hacks.
course, I mean, telepathy is kind of
Yeah, it's a bit of
Z's scariest attack anyway.
yes.
That is definitely that does kind of count as a weapon, doesn't it? Like psychic damage,
psychic damage.
psychic terror.
Yeah.
I'll take
Yeah,
it.
I mean, we can go into the rest of the bastard's gear and abilities. I think maybe when we're in those zones. But is there anything else we want to say about weapons?
Definitely. I have an immediate question. I want to know, can you make weapons on the fly?
Oh, that's a great question.
Even in the podcast, we've seen a little bit of that. For example, when Cleo met Z, the whole
True.
reason they became friends was because Cleo had already established a bit of a reputation within the prison as being someone that could potentially make some weapons.
Mm.
And although she's not specifically proficient at that, she's got translatable skills with her explosives expertise. So Cleo's always making bombs.
Yeah.
But she has been known to actually make energy blade type things before as well. And we also have in the butter knife in the beginning of season 2, where Boris converted the energy shields into an energy blade.
Yeah.
But I guess these are sort of like conversions, sort of tinkering. But yeah, you can definitely make weapons.
I was just about to say, it sounds like what would be classically labeled as tinkering abilities.
Well, as we call it engineering in Orbital Refuse. Notable engineers that have actually popped up in the show. We had Rads, the raccoon.
Very, very impressive engineer.
He did, in fact, do some some sort of basic gizmo building on the fly. Of course, we've got Boris, who built a battle train.
Boris is probably going to go
Boris
down
can
in
do
history as
anything.
one of the greatest tinkerers of all time, engineers.
But that's the class you want to be if you want to make weapons.
Yeah.
You can make them.
And I love it. I think if you've got a DM like yourself, Dickie, I don't mean to give you too much applause here, but I think if you have a great DM who is willing to play the narrative storytelling element of this type of game rather than the solo storytelling element, then a tinkerer is a brilliant class to be, because being able to watch Cleo and Rads do those kind of storytelling moments is always such a treat. I think it's really good.
I think as well, like it's just fun, isn't it? Like I've always found like a lot of the sort of crafting or potion making or that sort of thing
Potion seller?
in a lot more sort of like a lot of traditional RPG games to feel like really sort of limited and like not really fun to play. So Orbital Refuse, I've very intentionally given it a bit of like a video gamey physics of like this is this crazy futuristic world where you've got intergalactic starships. So of course all the tech is pretty plug and play, like click, 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 stuff together and off you go. So if you know what you're doing and you know your way around it, you can do it relatively quickly.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's brilliant. I love to hear it, and as a player sitting at the table, I enjoy it very much.
There's no inherent advantage. You can't like build an energy blade +5 or anything. Like there is none of these big damage bonuses. Like if there's going to be bonus damage, that is going to be like a very special thing indeed, and it's not going to be very big numbers. Being able to like scavenge a weapon or make a weapon is much more of a storytelling thing, and it's a way to sort of get yourself out of sticky situations when you find yourself without one, rather than being any sort of big advantage, because it's not going to give you more damage than any other weapon that you could get any other way.
So then, if you do have a weapon like a blaster or, a rifle, what powers it? What's the ammo? What do we use for ammo?
This is one
Do
that
we
as
know?
well. Like, I think we want to mention it in some lore things
Ammo.
every now and then, but it doesn't really come up in game because I think it's boring. Keeping track of ammo and reloading, I think, in a game.
You're
is
not a
boring.
bureaucrat?
I mean, that's
But-
fair. A lot of game systems have like moved on from ammo
Can you
counting
remember doing
and like
spells? When you play classic D&D and you got to do spells?
components, and you
Oh,
need your
there
like
you go.
pieces. 1 crystal bead and 2
And you can
feathers
take a
of a
piss on a
hag.
tree.
But yeah, like the in-game lore of it is that they use star sand, much like like energy shields also use, starships use it.
What else?
The power that runs everyone's houses on most planets
What?
is based on this stuff, and it is just this highly dense, packed full of like this crazy energy that exists sort of interdimensionally beyond the actual space of it. So it creates like you can have a small amount of it and it makes a lot of energy. So there's just these energy cells, these energy packets, and you take your ship back home, you plug it into the wall, and a few minutes later, it's good to go again. You take it onto your starship, you plug it in, maybe you dock it, and then it's good to go again. So I like to, in terms of gameplay, just kind of ignore its existence.
Dan is looking
but
to dock.
this is a thing that the characters are doing
docking.
between uses.
So are you saying that you could be in line at McDonald's
Okay.
and you need to pay for your food?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you just pop your gun out
Oh.
and be like, I don't have any in my pocket, and then just like pop out the magazine and pay with that?
I mean, arguably, like people would have to have some way of like measuring how much you had in there, though.
Ooh, how do they do that?
Pay with some bullets?
So that's why people have credits, because it's literally like you can see, this is a glass vial and it's full.
Okay, so the vial is like a specific size.
Well, the idea is
And-
you can see how much credits in there. Yeah, you look at it like,
Okay.
like there's star sand in there, and then
I
you can
wanna
you can
I'm
wave a little
seeing
like
this.
you can wave a little
No, me
energy
too.
reader over it just to make sure it's not glitter or something. Like, no, that's the real shit. And then your game. Whereas like if someone gives you like a magazine, you're gonna be like, well,
Yeah.
I don't really know what that's worth. Let's say like it's fucking half a
So
credit.
it would
I
almost
don't
be
know.
like paying with a gold bar.
Yeah, it's a lot like paying with a gold bar. And
Sort
the
of.
whole
I
idea
mean, a gold
is
bar
kind of
has it
based
stamped
on.
on, but
Well, it's based on this whole gold standard kind of concept. Like the
Okay.
idea of
Right.
credits. We could have just gone, there's credit cards, there's some sort of intergalactic bank or something. But
Yeah.
they just, with the messy nature, it's pirates, it's scavengers, all
You
sort of.
wanted to build a more physical world.
yeah.
Exactly. Like the messy nature of the orbital refuse world, I just don't think it makes any sense.
Yeah.
There is no centralized currency or bank or trade. Yeah, you go somewhere like mid-space and they are unaffiliated with the other planets. So what do you trade in? And the answer has got to be there's this one unified thing that everyone needs, that everyone uses, and it's fuel.
Brilliant.
Oh my God.
So
I dig
ammo,
it.
it's it's more of the same. But generally speaking, like the amount of ammo, like the amount of energy that's in your gun
Yeah.
is going to be like fuck all compared to credits.
Yeah.
Like
wow.
if you found
Sad.
a gun that was completely empty, like this is like 1,000-year-old gun, it's got no juice in it, and you wanted to just pop in some credits to make it go, it would only be like 1 or 2 credits to actually get it going.
Okay.
Oh. The cost of a life.
All right then, Dickie. So I got this gun here. I'm going to discharge
Gross.
this weapon.
Gross.
How much does it cost? Now I've got and
More than
depending
you
on the
got,
type
boy.
of gun that I've got, how much is each gun going to cost to fully fire for 1 energy? How much can I get?
More than you got.
So you're talking energy gameplay, like when you're fighting, yeah?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm using my 1 action. How much am I blasting through with 1 action per weapon?
In terms of like energy, the way I've worked it is it's been carefully broken down. So if you've got 2 one-handed weapons, you can go pew pew and you can fire them both. They each cost
Sidearm.
1 energy though.
Okay.
Whereas if you've got a rifle, you got to hold it in both
Sidearm.
hands. But you go pew
Sidearm.
and it does more damage.
Sidearm.
But
Sidearm.
it only costs 1 energy to fire off.
Sidearm.
So you can, if you're conserving energy and stuff, like having like a big weapon, you can sort of like move and fire. If you've got multiple weapons, you got to decide whether you're doing. And as well, someone's got multiple limbs, they can fire off multiple attacks as long as they've got the energy. Of course, no one ever has more than 3 energy, so you can only really get 3 of those attacks in.
Okay.
So there's a whole thing like Z has 6 energy blades, but when he's attacking, he can actually only swing 3 of them anyway.
That sucks.
But he's still got them all, so he can use them all defensively. He can like decide on the fly which one of them he's going to extend out, so he can just attack behind
That was
himself.
so aggressive.
I think it is still a real advantage having them all.
Yeah. I mean, I could tell you some other advantages for having multiple hands, but we can leave that for
Really?
another lore dive.
Oh my god, that sounds like a lore dive totally on its own. Dan After Dark.
Probably a blue episode. Yeah.
But there is definitely there is one sort of caveat of the whole you fire a weapon and you use an energy thing.
Oh.
And that is when you're inside a ship.
Okay.
When you're in a
What?
ship, you get yourself into the turret, and if you want to fire, that just blows all your energy. That's it. That's all you can do.
All of your energy. So all 3
because
points gone.
Well, otherwise, imagine this, because with normal combat physics, you'd get into a turret, well, you're in a turret, you fire that one off at someone, and then get up, run within your speed, hop in the turret next door, and fire that one as well.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but like...
That doesn't make any sense in space combat. Like, you're sat in there, and you fire it off,
and we
it
are a
takes all-
podcast that tries to make sense of space combat, so...
Yeah. So that's just it's simply a balancing thing,
It's
really.
good that
And
you're
like
here thinking about these
just
things.
making it make some sort of sense.
Yeah.
And it's it's also because like once you're doing space combat, you've got someone piloting, you've got someone in each turret and so on. So the spaceship itself then becomes the entity that's spending energy, really.
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
You become part of a bigger thing, and therefore just sort of and it's also, I guess, it's like a balancing thing because it does do like about 3 times as much damage as a person can normally output.
Look, it's all right. It's just, we'll bend those rules when we need them bent for us.
Oh yeah, I mean, if we're bending the rules, it'll be hidden behind some role play, so you'll never know.
A weird thing.
Hmm?
We know a living gun.
What?
We do.
Yeah?
Dilbert.
Oh, yeah.
Dilbert, the gun.
Dilbert the gun.
What the
Yeah.
hell? What the hell?
Well, that was one of my first attempts at doing like a tearjerker surprise thing, wasn't it? Of
Well,
killing a character and then sort of pulling the rug and be like, oh, but his spirit still lives on inside this
He
gun.
still lives in this brilliant gun.
It's admittedly less elegant than like some of our more recent emotional moments.
I
But I
can't.
think it's really interesting, like how
I think
Dilbert became this entity inside.
I did
the
not
field
have
gun.
that context.
I think we all love Herodotus, but I think Harry just kind of glazed over how brilliant a moment that might have been. I think if it had been Z's best friend or Cleo's like recently
Squire.
acquired person, then it might have had some more weight. But I think Harry
I
was
think there was like a little bit of weight. I remember there being moments like, my boy, I will send him.
I think Herodotus was legitimately, as I recall, within the episode, he was actually pleased and thankful when he realized like Dilbert had somehow survived.
The orders came pretty fucking quick, though. You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I
Hey,
mean,
it was
Herodotus.
battle. It was
He was,
battle.
It was battle.
He was a commanding officer. He was a commanding officer
He was a
after all.
commanding officer, yeah.
Lord
And so
and
Dilbert-
Commander.
Yeah.
As you might recall, Dilbert has been promoted. Dilbert is no longer a field gun. Dilbert now operates Zarg Moon's or Zarg Castle's defense
That's right.
systems.
That's
They're in
right.
charge of the entire damn defense system.
That's right.
Yeah.
I remember
Dilbert.
that. Dilbert. That's a glow up.
That is a big glow up, and I'd love to meet Dilbert again one day.
Well, you can imagine as well, like, I mean, I can't speak for Herodotus. I mean, Dilbert was his squire and is now essentially like his chief of security. I mean, maybe they'll do some work about like, giving him back a voice modulator and all that
I
sort
hope
of thing.
so. I hope so.
Maybe if you do go back and meet Dilbert, it will be like the sort of disembodied voice in the castle. I'm watching
Oh,
you. I've got guns everywhere.
Oh, can you imagine Dilbert goes insane and then, holds the
Oh
castle
god,
at
horror
ransom.
episode.
Horror episode, yes.
That's terrifying.
That is the only like living gun we've come across so far. I've gone as far as to say that Reese doesn't have access to the weapon systems on your ship.
Why?
Mainly because giving you a 3d6 damage drone, it would be broken as fuck. That's the main reason.
Oh, okay, so that's the only reason is that you just hate Reese.
You hate
You don't
Reese.
want Reese to be sentient.
That's cool.
Okay,
Whatever,
Dickie.
man.
Cool. All right. Showing your true
Cool.
colors. Should we move on to equipment?
I guess.
I mean,
we
we've got
have
some
to.
fun equipment. So we've looked at the bastard's weapons.
Can we do it like,
But-
it's equipment.
Equipment.
It's equipment.
Why is it always that melody?
Show me your
because
stuff.
it's good. It's so good.
We
Show
could go
me your
like
things.
equipment.
Equipment. What is that?
That's The Simpsons.
You're right.
Oh.
Whoops.
I still laugh.
That's what I did.
It's equipment.
I don't know.
It's equipment.
Sounds like you guys did the right thing and I did the Simpsons song. So, like all the way, like I didn't stop. So, I'm sure you can. Yeah,
So
I did the
equipment.
whole thing.
What equipment do the bastards got?
Oh my
Oh,
God. What
a
do we
lot.
not
Should
got?
we want to look at
do we not got?
what they got beyond, because we looked at the weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. We did.
So equipment, we're talking about all the miscellaneous goodies that couldn't quite be called a weapon that the bastards have
Anything can be a weapon
accumulated
if you're brave
and got
enough.
their hands on.
Exactly.
So, first and foremost, Z's got the honey boy, and that's a serious
Yeah.
piece of equipment.
That's a
Oh.
rig.
Look.
That's a rig.
And considering that I was in a plastic bag before that,
Mm.
quite
Yeah.
the upgrade.
Z
Do we want to
has
do a
experienced
timeline?
the
A
glow up.
timeline of
Yes.
Z's bodies.
Yes, we
yeah,
do.
all right. Let's do a timeline of these bodies.
So we
Ugh.
got baby Atoll Z, who didn't have no body at all.
You're right.
Nobody.
But in secret, he was building something with scraps.
You're
yes, it took a long time, a lot of dedication. Got there in the
But
end.
he eventually built something that was kind of like a fishbowl on tank treads with a single pathetic arm. And then
Sad but
he
cute.
got his first
Very sad,
upgrade
very cute.
upon meeting M8, which was replacing the shitty arm with like a strong
A
arm.
strong arm.
One
I
strong
remember that.
hand.
Yeah.
I
that's
drew
good.
all of these on Valentine's Day.
And then we came across like a slightly different version of Z's. It's the same body, but missing the fishbowl and with water spritzers instead when he was in space and met Cleo.
The bowl had somehow broken while in prison. And
And he had to just replace it with spritzers to keep
Yes.
him wet.
yes,
It was a bit of a sad body, that
it
one.
was a low point.
But
I
then
liked
when
it.
we meet Z in episode 0, like in the main kind of continuity, when him and Cleo finally made it to mid-space and hooking up with Herodotus and so on, Z had actually sort of a relatively powerful body with like a back into a fishbowl, but this time with droid parts. We had arms and legs and like some sort of chassis. He had an integrated like communicators and things for hacking and his
yeah.
energy shields built into it.
It just
that
had a
was
broken
like-
arm though.
Yeah, it had one broken arm. Clearly not been taking the best care of it, but
No, but it was the first walking suit of armor.
I guess that sort of set the bar for what Z would do. I mean, he got that one absolutely demolished,
yes.
but in the process of actually sort of saving the whole day, so it kind of worked out.
I liked it a lot.
Then was upgraded from having no suit at all after falling through an energy shield to being in a plastic bag.
Plastic bag with the one surviving arm attached, I believe, so he could drag himself along if he needed to. Although he was, getting carried by Cleo was preferable.
Yes, very very much reminiscent of C-3PO and Chewbacca.
Or it's also just sort of reminiscent of you've won a goldfish at the fair and you're going around in a plastic bag.
I think
That was the
Chewbacca,
energy.
C-3PO was a little bit better than that, but yeah, sure.
That was definitely the energy.
But then that's when we got to the honey boy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Z had specifically gone to a place. It's like like a black market synth body shop. It's like if you're gonna get a good new body, it's obviously synth tech. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Synths are the most advanced technological beings that we know of in the galaxy.
I dragged myself through that entire sewer to get to that glorious escape and found myself at that honey boy body.
But yeah, rather than getting the body that Z designed and wanted to be made, Z ended up discovering a bloodbath, and there was a rogue AI inside the strange experimental nanoplastic thing, which we've come to call the Honey Boy, mainly because Cleo and Herodotus had their own B story of mistaking it for honey.
The B plot actually becoming the B plot.
The B
That
plot,
was-
BEE.
That was a thing that happened.
Yeah.
That was a thing that happened.
But yeah, the Honey Boy, like a ridiculously powerful upgrade.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Z hasn't really had any need to go beyond that in terms of a body. He can
Or even explore the powers of that body. It's
no,
just
he
been
can integrate new tech into it so readily because it can transfer energy through itself and power different devices and so on. So it can reshape itself and stretch quite long and quite wide.
Yeah.
The real danger of that is that it's constantly losing material.
Yes, it has been getting smaller.
It's slowly but surely getting a little bit smaller.
As I get shot and cut at, it's been getting a lot smaller.
Oh my glob. What are we going to do?
Well, now Z is in a jellyfish-type body with the remainder of the honey boy being repurposed with some of Keen's tech to make a floating jellyfish.
What if some of it evaporates?
That's why it doesn't. It's not. It can't kind of evaporate. It's like
Have you
plastic.
ever made a jelly shark? Okay, when you go to the store, sometimes you can buy a pill. And the pill, you put the pill in water.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
eventually-
And it grows, yeah.
And a shark will hatch. And
Yeah.
the shark becomes massive.
Yeah.
And if you leave it there for a long time and the water is gone, it will evaporate. Sort of.
Turns to dust.
That's the thing that you should worry about.
Cycle of life. I'm sure that will happen to Z if the honey boy ever does dissipate.
Oh, he's going to have to keep an eye. Because, like, the honey boy at the moment, it erases Z's need for water because it can be
Lubricating.
repurposed. Yeah,
I like
it
how
can
Dick's just like, well, you're just going to need to keep
keep
an
him
eye.
moist while providing a life support system. But it's, yeah, he'd be in
Don't
trouble
get
if it
too caught up
all
in
gets
it.
screwed.
Don't think
But, I
about
mean-
it too much.
Z's
Don't worry
not the
about
only one to have a bunch of equipment. Cleo
I thought
has-
you were about to say Z's not the only one with a bunch of shit.
Yeah. Cleo has been grabbing things, from day one as well.
Yes.
Girl, yeah. I'm not even going to read off. Like, I have Post-its on my desk of all the
there's
shit.
a lot of random stuff.
There's
What
a
about
lot of shit. It's bad, right? Like, there's a lot. But the thing is, I just bought a bunch of crap for the house,
Yeah.
for the lair.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read that off because listen to the most recent episodes, you shitheads.
It's a bunch.
But there's, there's that. And then, like, there's all the other stuff. Like, there's the Red Rover, my whip.
Your whip. Your
I
German
don't have
whip.
a spaceship, but I have the ATV golf cart
Yeah.
that I illegally purchased because it's, like, stolen, unknown, whatever, not my problem. I have that. I have, like, a billion loose objects that I have been
You got
wrapping
like
into different explosive recipes.
yeah. That pile of junk that you bought for one credit.
Yeah. The pile
you've-
of junk.
You've got a bucket of things.
Yes, I do. And that was an incredible purchase that I'm glad that I made. I've got the sleeve engine, which is
Yeah.
why I'm this thing.
That's a serious piece of kit.
Kind of. Yeah. It's not a weapon, but it kind of is. Like,
Kind
But
of
I
is.
don't know that. I mean,
It
like,
sure hurt
I feel
me.
like none of the other bastards even really know about it.
No,
right? Like
we
the
don't.
Sleeve engine is like
they
Cleo's
still don't.
the sort
Oh
of
my
weird
God.
little thing
One
that
day
she's.
we're going to have that
Have
episode
that
where
conversation.
where they find out.
Yeah.
I forgot that we haven't like really
We haven't
addressed
done
it, but
Because we're the type of people that would rather make jokes than deal with actual things. So
that's not wrong. That's not
yeah.
wrong.
But I mean, for anyone that's listening to this without having gone through the whole Cleo Day saga,
Whoops.
whoops. But the sleeve engine is a highly dangerous, highly experimental in the form that Cleo has device.
It is.
Whoops.
That lets someone transfer their entire existence, their brainwaves, psychic energy, and memories all in one onto the brain of another living thing and take over their body. This has been
Quite
established as
terrifying.
being, like, this isn't something
Yeah.
that, like, if you've just got psychic powers, you can just do that. This isn't X-Men, like, this is scary, weird piece of scary tech
Yeah.
that Cleo has one of the only working models of.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
why I'm a bear. And you probably know that by now.
Yep.
But if you don't, you definitely know. That's what I'm talking about when I call Cleo a human bear, which is how I introduce her when people ask me for a one-liner. I'm just like, I play a human bear, and that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Like,
Figure
if
it
you
out,
want to
listen
know
to the
more, find
episodes.
out. Listen
Yeah.
to the thing. And you know what? Like, we also have the duality orb, which we got from Lucas's replicant episodes.
Yeah. And that's, again, it's something that we could sort of bust out. Like, it could be like some sort of special Cleo episode, but that was supposed to be legitimately a device, beings inside one head, which is exactly the situation that Cleo is in.
Yep.
And the replicant being able to look into matter in a way that's almost godlike, actually understood that about Cleo and gave her a useful device that we haven't looked at if Cleo has been using that, but I don't get any sense that she has yet.
No, I don't think so. We really honestly haven't had time, but it's definitely in my back pocket with all my other secret shit. Like my hand necklace. I've been collecting hands across a galaxy.
That's true.
Hands
That's very
across the
true.
world, baby.
Oh. So we've got our equipment. Now, what about the people we travel with? We've got Boris, we've got Trevor, we've got even Jordan. How are they equipped?
Okay. Well, let's sort of jiggle on through that. Trevor, famously, is always pulling pistols on people, isn't he? He has blaster pistols at the ready, tucked a comical amount of weaponry tucked into his gear. He tends to wear his keen flight jacket. Also has a Zarg fur coat or fur cloak, a nod to his people and his origins. He also has, which hasn't really come up since the war, but like a full set of power armor.
Holy heck, he's got a full set?
He's got a suit of power armor, which, I mean, he doesn't do a lot of like in the trenches fighting. He's much more likely to be flying the ship because he's a damn good pilot.
Damn.
I mean, that's the general Trevor gear, I'd say. He's been gathering things and so on. He's got a whole bunch of brewing equipment recently, which is
it sounds like
interesting
classic gunslinger. Jacket, guns.
Yeah, jacket and guns. What more do you need?
Yeah.
If you can shoot someone fast enough, then you're fine.
Who knows
Also,
what's in that duster?
He can hide behind you guys.
Maybe one day we're going to find out. I mean, we did just recently try to get him to unzip, but he didn't.
Equipment. Am I right? Equipment.
Boris, on the other hand, Boris has got a big dick.
I mean, yeah.
Gross.
Also, I imagine Boris has got a Prince Albert, but that's just my own headcanon.
Why does Boris have so many bodily piercings? Why is this an important part of it?
Because Bodhi drew him with a fucking nipple piercing, and now I can't imagine him.
Bodhi drew him. Okay, the way Bodhi drew Boris definitely was like inspired because he has like a nipple piercing and he has like a magical top that's like meant to show off the nipple piercing.
Yeah.
And I just feel like
it's so
that
Boris.
Top, I mean, like we've literally got the unzipping of his jumpsuit is 100% because of that drawing.
And I love that Boris is so like conscious about it. Like,
he's free with his body.
But he's like, does it look good, Cleo? Cleo, do I look all right? But he's also totally willing to just show off whatever he can.
Cleo's
I think imagine as well, like it's not like he has abs or
right.
anything. Like he doesn't have a good chest. You know,
I just picture Boris being kind of like little. What do you think? How do you picture Boris?
He's
Prince
definitely
Albert.
a bit
That's
little.
all I imagine. He's got a Prince Albert. He's got.
Do you picture Boris young or old?
Oh, like I imagine him like maybe my age, like in his 30s.
Didn't we get a different Boris art and he was older?
I did a drawing of Boris that was older.
Was that you?
Oh no,
you
I also
drew
did I did a drawing of Boris that was younger as well, though. So
was
I
it?
mean, I
can't
think
remember.
Boris is being pretty young. Like I think he's in his 20s.
Oh my god,
that
20s!
makes
Now
me
that you're
feel-
putting a label on it.
now that makes me feel dirty because I imagine Z is like my age, so I don't want to be like.
I'm just
Oh.
walking through the world and I'm like, everybody is my age.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's it. Everybody is either my age or they're a baby or they're old.
Anyway, ignoring Boris's age for a second.
Okay. Focus on
Actually,
his
we
dick.
leaving any of that in?
We'll leave some of it in, yeah.
Ignoring Boris's age for a second, he has a fair bit of equipment. He has
Yeah, he does.
a ridiculous pile of tools, which he doesn't
yeah, he
treat with a
does.
heck of a lot
Clamps.
of care or respect.
Whoa. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
But more importantly, he now carries on his person at all times the multi-tool
Oh,
that
Rad's
Rad's
gave him.
made for him.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Because it's so much more useful. It's made him realize like like instead of having like a big chest full of full of tools that you got to rummage through and so on, which is a classic engineer trope.
It's very cool.
It's quite handy having something in your pocket that does most of it.
Well, I mean, after he threw away all of our other tools.
He's not been known
That's
to
true, actually, Taylor.
carry a weapon.
He did throw
Boris-
away everything else.
Boris is maybe a bit of a lover, not a fighter. He
I see.
doesn't carry any sort of energy weapon, although he has in the past used tools. He's used a drill.
As a
He now
weapon.
has a ride-on drill.
I
so
can't
like,
stop thinking
you
about
could
all
see
of
where
these
that might be
things in a
going.
sexual lens. He's got a drill. He's got a ride-on drill.
Dan is that meme right now. Dan is that meme right now. That have you seen that meme where it's like 439 days without sex? then there's some like outrageous comment. Well, it doesn't work now because I don't have one.
I've got a drill.
I got a drill.
Yeah,
Well, I think of Boris as a sexually charged person.
So
you know?
you picture Boris as someone that bangs a lot.
Oh, see, I see Boris as being absolutely oblivious to that.
Same.
Sort of thing.
I don't picture Boris
Like,
as
I don't
banging.
know if he's actually ace, but like he's definitely oblivious. If someone was coming onto him, he wouldn't realize it.
I feel like that's why Boris is like so sexy because he doesn't know about. He
Actually,
doesn't
no,
care.
you're right. You're right. I do see him that way, but I am seeing him sexy. And
You know
you're
who
right.
bangs?
I see him.
You know who bangs?
Who?
Trevor.
Yeah. I mean,
Trevor bangs.
Trevor's fucking taking this.
He's a cool guy. It's only certain people that he'd attract. People that actually think that his level of pretension is actually as cool as he does. But those are the people he wants anyway.
But he takes Reese out and lands Reese at like just random landing bays and like flamboyant
And then just
ways.
sort of stands around
and
like,
stands and
"Hey,
waits. And then if he
look at
doesn't get
me."
anyone, then he just takes off again and lands somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't imagine he's willing to put in a lot of work. I think like he put a lot of work into like the appearance and
Look
like
at Dick trying to clean it up.
then he'll just show up and be like, yeah.
Dick's like,
glad we're
he's
like-
cooler than that, you guys. He's cooler than that.
This is the equipment episode. We're also talking about the game they bring.
I think that's
Who would've
that's Trevor's game. It depends on the desperation level of that day. I feel
But you
like
think he's,
Trevor
like-
doesn't pull as much as you think.
No, but you're right, though. Now that you've explained why Boris is sexy, I do think that it is because of his obliviousness to things.
Yeah. Boris is super sexy. Oh my God.
Oh,
because
yeah.
he's wild. Boris is out of control.
Yeah.
Boris
ride or
is,
die.
and he's smart, which I think, you know what? I think that's hot.
Yeah.
Boris is super smart and he's creative.
He
And-
knows a lot about esoteric things.
Yeah, he loves stuff. I think that's like the most attractive thing a person can do.
And I
is
think
be
Boris
really
is into like
stuff.
most things as well. I don't think Boris would be turned off by like physical. I think Boris is probably
I don't know. I
into-
can't picture it.
As you say, he's probably
Maybe
ace, but I'm
Boris
just saying,
is
like,
ace.
I think it would be like mind and like
Oh yeah, like if Boris isn't asexual, then he is definitely like
pan,
sexual.
yeah.
Like he's into people that are. Like,
I can see
"What,
that.
You've got some of these rare alien seeds. I must see them.
Oh,
Yes, we can have
no.
sex as well, but let's see them.
yeah.
Boris only came to your house.
He's just fucking. He's doing a train.
Boris only came to your house to see your rare alien seeds.
Yeah. He's okay having sex as well, but he's mainly into seeing the seeds.
He's like, "Can we have
catch him
sex
looking off, and
while
he's
I look
looking
at
at
the
your
seeds?"
terrarium full of seeds still.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. It's so funny that we talk about how much we love Boris. And as we've pointed out before, Tell Morris, the prototype for Boris, existed in our previous campaign, and we just dunked on him the entire time.
Oh, yeah,
he
you
had the
hated
same
him.
voice. He had like,
But
well,
he
not
was
the same.
actually cool in a sort of weird way because he was this, this old ancient defender of like this
Defender monk
monastery,
that was, like,
this powerful monk who
drunk all the time. And
He was just a bit old, you know. It was the only reason why he didn't seem as cool as he used to be in his youth.
dunked
but-
on Tell Morris all the time. And now
but
Boris shows up, and it's like,
who I intentionally made as grotesque as I could in his initial appearance.
yeah. Oh my God, what
'Cause
a
he was
lovely man.
he was supposed to represent, you know, exactly why the Terrans aren't the amazing people they think they are. Yet, turns out Boris is amazing.
He's brilliant, and I will not hear anything other than that.
I love Boris.
I've got a lot of love for Boris. You asked about Jordan. I mean, Jordan, I don't know if he carries any equipment, but
Probably.
I mean, you do have a saddle for him from the Jelly people.
Yeah. And there's pockets.
And Jordan, I mean, he would, yeah, in a video game or something, you'd probably consider him a piece of your inventory. He's a mount.
I mean, I feel like Jordan is a weapon, so he doesn't need one.
Oh,
Well, there's that as well.
Would you put like an armored beak on Jordan? You know how crows can
I don't
have
think
like
he needs. I don't think he needs an armored
Nah,
being.
he's
need it?
super strong. He's super strong. He doesn't
Alien
need that
Dactyl.
shit.
He could bite someone's arm off pretty easily.
He can do whatever he wants.
You know, in like games, we have to have like that whistle to get the mount to like show up just behind you, no matter where you are. You just
Yeah.
whistle, and then
Yeah.
like boom, right there. What's the whistle for Jordan? Is it just
what if there
Cleo
isn't
going,
one because
Jordan?
what if he's what if because he is psychic,
Oh,
you don't have to do a whistle?
but I like that so far. We've heard Cleo just every time just yell out Jordan's name. Just back,
Yeah.
Jordan.
But what if Cleo
and
doesn't
he's like,
know?
yeah,
that-
he's like that sort of thing,
Yeah,
like a puppy dog that knows its name and knows it's supposed to come, but doesn't come right away.
yeah. Well,
Like pretends like he's interested in the thing in the far corner for a little while before he comes.
I feel you probably have to call Jordan telekinetically,
Yeah.
but Cleo just
Telepathically.
yells because she doesn't know.
Well, heck,
And
that
then
makes so
while
much
she
sense.
yells, she's actually doing the like psychic call, but she doesn't realize it.
That makes so much sense because we met Jordan with the telekinetic people, the jellies, right?
Yeah.
So
Telepathic.
yeah, so it makes so much sense. So much sense.
Telepathic.
Telepathic. yeah.
I think we have to revisit that lore dive, Dan.
We will.
But I definitely think that there's more to Jordan than we know.
And meets the eye, perhaps.
Yeah.
Doesn't he talk like this?
Yeah, now he does. Too late. That's it. That's Jordan forever.
So you guys do have a couple of ships as well, but I think
Yes.
we're gonna have to cover that.
Better shut
Starships
up
in
about it.
its own lore dive because that's a big issue.
Okay, then let's follow Taylor's lead there and
Big old
Shut up about it.
But I mean, we could briefly mention as well that Boris actually owns a
Shut that
truck.
mouth.
Or did we already mention that? Boris owns a truck which you left in a not in a minefield, in an
Okay.
asteroid field.
Look,
Yeah, but I don't know if we left.
that
I think
was
Boris
not
left
100% our fault.
Yeah, I think that was Boris.
Is actually the thing.
I mean, it
So-
was a combined effort to.
I mean, I feel like we suited up and we were
Mhm.
like, do you need help?
I think it legitimately was the first time that the four of you actually did something together.
That you saw. I don't know why we have to go to that place tonight, but that's what we're doing.
That's what
Sorry.
we're doing.
That's
Right,
where
yeah.
that's where we're at.
Yeah,
Okay?
I mean,
don't know.
like,
I don't know
Rule
if it's a
34,
full moon.
One day we'll have the fucking artwork that corresponds to that first.
Somebody out
first,
there is doing it right now. Look, I don't know if it's a full moon or if it's a day
We're
of the
having a
week.
very sexy episode.
It's a very
We are.
sexy episode. Look, we're talking
I'm
about
sorry.
equipment.
I'm
It's very
sorry
sexy.
for it. I'm very sorry.
Well,
I don't
let's
know.
transition from equipment to something much less sexy. Gear.
Oh. Oh.
It's an arbitrary distinction between what is equipment and what is gear, but the gear is the stuff that you wear because you wear gear.
Yes, we do.
I'll wear gear.
We're
All
ruining
geared
this.
up and ready to mingle.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think the funny thing is we would, honestly, in any sort of sexual scene in the main podcast, we would fade to black so quick.
Oh yeah, we wouldn't be comfortable with it. But it's like any emotional thing, you know.
I don't think
as
I've
soon as it
ever
gets
actually
real-
done that.
As soon as it gets too real, we just go jokes.
Wait,
and fade.
wait. Wouldn't it be? Nah, I don't know.
Well, you say, wouldn't it be fun to role play out an entire
not
sexual
fun.
encounter in its
Would
full?
it be funny?
I don't think it would be funny. No.
I don't know
think
what
it
it
would
He
be.
starts growing his tentacle. Blah, 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 blah.
So the problem is, I mean,
Does
as soon as
anybody
you start
actually
going,
do this? Have you
as
ever
soon as
heard
you
that?
actually start going for like penetration and stuff, it has to be pornographic. Like this has to be to titillate. It's not
I feel
funny.
like you wouldn't like describe the whole thing, though, right?
No, maybe not.
You would
I'm sure
do it like
there's
the way that
people
we
out
do.
doing that though. People out there do that.
Do you really
definitely.
You
think
just
so?
do a tasteful. You're all on the bed, and then at one point the camera slowly leans down to show the feet, and then it's the TV
Why
movie
the
thing.
why
of-
the feet?
Why
no,
the
hear me
feet?
out. No, I'm getting
You've
there.
ruined it, Dan.
No,
Dick
it's-
hates feet.
I hate feet, but I'm saying that there's the old school movie trope of like back in the day, if they wanted to show sex between people,
You pan up.
They showed
Right,
the
pan
feet like
up.
this.
No. Let me get there. It would pan down and show that like the base of the bed, and then the feet would lift up and move onto the bed, and then that was when the camera would fade out, and that was it saying they're in the bed. Jesus Christ, Prince, what the fuck?
They're in the bed.
That
we all
was-
know what that means.
That was cinematography with Dan 101. Hey, listen here. What kind of armor are the bastards even wearing?
Oh, that's a good question. I think we all know the answer to that though. They're wearing armor from Keen,
Keen.
Oh, right, yeah, okay, I do know the answer to that
the
question. yes.
magnificent Keen.
Oh,
Well, he's
In
magnificent.
terms of fashion, particularly militaristic space pirate fashion, Keen is the absolute top of the line.
wow.
So why don't we? We'll start with Cleo,
yes,
who's
we
wearing a full
Yes, we
suit of Keen armor. It's in the sky blue and blood red color combo.
Oh, beautiful.
Fully armored, but with some sort of fingerless gloves that allow bear claws to come out, because ultimately you couldn't make better claws than what an Ursine already has.
You can't.
It's impossible. Scientists have tried.
They've tried and they failed. The easiest thing to do is to lop off the armor of an existing Urson and just use that.
Whoa. All right.
Accepted that pretty quick, Taylor. Went from absolute disgust to, all right.
But Cleo's armor has built-in spacesuit. It has built-in fold-out wings that allow her to glide through the air.
Yes.
Like a Gundam. Gundam wings.
Yep. It has
Gundam
built-in snack pocket that's
Yes.
right under
Emergency.
the face. Like, so you could use it the same way as you would, like when the horses have a little feeding thing over their snout.
Just like that.
I see.
Yeah.
I kind of thought of it more like I put some crackers in my purse, but okay.
Yeah.
Like a mouth diaper.
What else does that armor do? I mean, it's
That was
it is-
horrible. Mouth.
Oh,
diaper.
it is the primary, I guess, design feature is that it is really built with Cleo in mind because Cleo is an explosives expert, a bit of a tinkerer, a bit of a
nice.
bit of a scavenger. So any weapon that she picks up, she can snap on there. Like it's got like little attachments to grab things on all the way across both
love that.
chest packs and waist, like a utility belt that you can attach your bombs, your grenades, your guns to.
Yes.
Snap them on.
Into it.
I'm into it. There's a lot of compartments. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. It's kind of expandable because you could snap some sort of bag onto one of those compartments as well and have pouches.
and I need that kind of storage because I'm a moving closet. I'm constantly dragging all my crap around.
Oh yeah, when we went through the weapons and equipment, like Cleo's been hoarding a bunch of shit.
Yeah, and that's how I'm gonna be forever until I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, meanwhile with Z, in the same armored sky blue and blood red color combo, he has what amounts to kind of a throne with armored plates that can sort of rise up. That
yes.
in
Okay.
which the honey boy can sit there as a sort of a floating orb, or it can expand out into various sizes. It has 3 fully articulated jellyfish tentacle legs and a little jet propulsion device that in fact allows him to hover up to around 2 meters high over
2
obstacles.
meters. No one's ever gone that high, Dickie.
Hmm.
Wow.
probably not.
Yeah, it's a good thing, and I like that finally Z is in a jelly body befitting of the jelly body.
Oh yeah,
already
ditching
in.
the bipedal shape makes so much sense. You know, he's
Yeah,
a
that was a
jellyfish.
journey.
He's
Yeah.
in an armor that's jellyfish shaped.
Took a while, but
It did.
got there in the end.
It did take a while.
Heck. 2 awesome bits of equipment and gear for us there. Love it.
So both those armors have the standard armor rating, which is how armor works in orbital refuse of 1. And that just means any incoming damage is reduced by 1, which there's a very high probability of you taking only 1 damage. So that armor completely absorbs many attacks. And the upgraded armor ratings, it's not something that I've needed to consider yet. So that's it. That's where armor gets. You can still upgrade this armor with new features, new ways of defending
I was about
yourselves.
to ask, like, how do we
Yes!
take that 1 to being like a 2 or a 3 or possibly a 4?
Can that happen?
Well, I mean, what I just said was that it can't.
Oh, well. Okay, then. I guess I was too
Yeah,
focused
Dan.
on getting ready
Yeah,
to ask the
Dan.
question that I didn't hear the answer already. Damn it, but I want it to be true. I wanted to.
Wait,
Well,
let me
maybe
say
one
Let me
day.
say this. Let me say this. We could get shit to attach to ourselves that would make us bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
Zeo.
Zeo.
Build the Zeo.
Zeo.
We'll
I mean, an
build the
armor
Zeo.
rating of 2 would only exist to combat like damage crawl and or damage creep. And I've tried not to have any sort of stat creep at all in this game because honestly, it just bothers me. Like in
Okay.
other games, you're just constantly working.
Well, Dick, we
to,
don't
like,
want you bothered, so let's not worry about an armor creep.
functionally.
then.
What's the difference? Okay, of like, oh, I deal 10 damage, but you absorb 5 of it, or I deal 1 damage and you deserve. Maybe that's those numbers are bad. I deal.
I mean, look,
Damage
I am a huge fan of
creep.
idle games where, like, I just I incrementally click on things more.
The numbers just get bigger and bigger.
So for me, that works. But I totally understand what you're saying about that because fundamentally the story's the same, right? And you've tried to build a system focused on the role playing and the
I
interactions.
mean, I think
rather
what
than
is always more interesting
stats.
when you level up and when you sort of you go places in the game is getting new shit you can do.
I like
It's more
that.
important than bigger numbers.
And I can now float, and Cleo can now eat snacks on the go. So
And that's the big thing with this equipment.
I can also
These
float.
gears.
I can also float.
is the ability to expand and like advance the technological capabilities of what you have. So these armors, very intentionally modular.
I love it.
I mean, Z's already in. Yeah, he's got an energy shield and
Z's
stealth
body
projection.
can interact directly with computers and not needing a robotic arm. So I love that.
You can download
I love the Honey Boy.
movies.
Could. And you wouldn't do that, obviously. You would not download a movie.
You wouldn't
or a car.
You wouldn't download a car.
You would not. So neither would Z.
Yeah, no.
He would.
We wouldn't do that.
There's no criminality in his
You
bones.
wouldn't download a pizza.
Fuck yeah, I'll download a pizza.
I would download a pizza right now. I don't give a shit who's watching.
Yeah. I download a pizza and then I download another pizza.
I would download a pizza in the middle of a police station. Come get me.
The call's coming from when inside the house.
Anything else you guys want to know about gear?
Shit. Yeah, actually, like, here's the thing. This is something that I think is cool. So it's not even a question. Like, it is and it isn't. It's a thought.
Yeah.
So Z and Cleo are both piloting a thing. Right? Because Z is piloting the Honey Boy and then also the suit of armor. And then Cleo is the human piloting an Ursine. So Z and Cleo are both things within a thing. Kinder Egg surprise.
Oh, shit.
Right?
Yeah.
And they're people like out of their natural element as well. Like Z belongs in water as like a swimming thing, but he's rocking around on land as a walking thing.
Yep.
Cleo
belongs in
is
the
like
desert.
legitimately meant to be this agile, tiny human, but is actually this huge, powerful, lumbering bear.
Fire and water right there.
Right? And that's like the coolest thing, right? Like we're talking about gear. Like the ultimate gear is the fact that we're driving bodies that technically ain't ours. And like over time that's evolved, right? Like there's pros and cons. And I think that like we don't even know all of them yet.
Because like we don't see a lot of Z outside of the Honey Boy because he doesn't function very well that way.
No.
And
Bit of a
I
wimp.
mean, Cleo, her body's gone and buried, so we're not going to see her in her original form.
I guess not. But you know what? This is the future, so you never know. You never
I
know.
mean, someone could have
Some
cloned it.
spider stuff going on there.
Oh, you never know. You never know.
I got one more question while we're here.
Oh, yeah.
And that is,
Yeah.
so
What's your favorite color?
can Cleo and Z wear anything, or is there a kind of armor rating in place? And how would that work?
So there's no armor skill even. Like technically, if you wanted to use like medieval plate mail armor or something, you'd find yourself having to make durability checks often to make full use of it. But base armor is like light and built to be kind of easy. So there's no straight up armor rating or armor skill that you need. You don't have to have a certain class of armor. You can just choose to put it on. I think in a role play and sort of technical sense, there could be times where it's just getting in the way of you doing things. If you've got like big, heavy armor on and you're like falling in the water, you run into troubles. But yeah, Cleo and Z can choose to wear whatever armor they want.
Anything.
Ultimately.
Just remember that you said that.
Wear what you want.
Just remember.
All right. Well, you know what that brings us to.
What? What, Dan?
It's time for questions.
It's time for listener questions. Listener questions. It's time for listener questions.
The most unorganized intro to a segment of any podcast.
Listener questions.
One day, people, we will have a more organized, thing.
Nah,
I
these
like
are
it.
just gonna get worse and worse.
They're gonna get worse. They're gonna get worse, aren't they? Just gonna.
I feel like we started the jam though.
We're getting there.
Okay, picture this. What if we
can
did it?
record one in person in London.
What if we did
together.
it? What if we did it for like a half hour?
Oh shit, that'd be like.
Do you think that you would like? Do you think you would break into like a Zen state, like a
Heck
float?
yeah, I think I would.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It would be definitely meditation.
Yeah.
Anyway, do we want to
Wow.
hear one of these listener questions?
Well, I think you
I
got one
guess-
for us, don't you, Dickie?
I guess we could.
Isaac asked an interesting one, which
Okay.
What
I'm
was
kind
it?
of big on. Here's one. Have you considered equipment weight, like an inventory capacity? Maybe have a miniaturizer that holds your crap as a viable inventory expansion?
Bag of holding, perhaps?
I do like the idea of like some sort of miniaturizer bag of holding type thing.
Yes.
That is
Equipment
very
weight
cute.
and inventory capacity is not something that we bother with when we're recording Backwater Bastards. I do, however, have an aura of realism around what I will allow the bastards to carry around with them. So if one of them decides to pick up something particularly big and ungainly, then that is in their hands.
That's
They are
cool.
holding it in their hands. They can't have another one. They can't do anything until they put it down.
Wow.
But I think we also help here because we all, as players and as storytellers, in your case, Dickie, act with our hands in these recording sessions. So, in
It's
times
true.
where both of us have been carrying something heavy, we'll sit here on camera holding something in our hands. And it may not have a weight on a character sheet, but in our minds, it definitely
That's
does.
the thing, though, because that makes it more fun. Like when we're playing, I feel like I'm looking for the way in which I can't. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking for the limitation because the limitation is where the comedy is.
Yeah. So
Oh,
we're
absolutely.
like
And yeah,
literally carrying things with
we
our
do
hands.
kind of we limit ourselves in that sense. Or it's also the way the game works. Like your party has a starship where you can keep all kinds of gear.
very useful.
And then when you go on a mission, you grab the gear you want. And that's another thing we have, like back, when Harry used to decide whether or not he'd bring his field gun because it was so big, or
That's
like
true.
whether or not you have certain pieces of equipment is actually a question. And if we were going to like really game it and play it, like the way Orbital Refuse will eventually insist that you do play, is that you'll have an inventory, a starship, like here's my catalog of stuff inventory, and then you have like a mission inventory where you load specific slots. So you'll be like, okay, I've got one big weapon on my back, I've got my small weapons, I've got these units fit into these slots, and then I'm carrying a little satchel with these things in it, and that's it. And then you have to go back to your ship to restock or change, which technically, like I feel like that's how you guys already play, but we could codify that more. And
Yeah.
I mean, just saying it aloud like that, I was like, I know exactly how this works.
Yeah, I think it would be fun to have it in the rules, but I think just so far it's been quite interesting because we just get so lost in the role playing that we literally will be holding these things in our hands invisibly. So that's really
I just
fun.
feel like there are so many things that like we have these disadvantages, but Dick doesn't have to launch them on us because we hurt ourselves on our own more than anybody.
Yes.
Yeah, there's not yet been a situation where I thought like, okay, what are you doing? You're carrying too much stuff. You literally just, put a park bench on your back. You can't now swing an axe as well. Like, like it's
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, we've got another question here from Maddest Max. And he asks, what are the typical weapons, if any, of all the big factions?
okay, yeah, I dig it. So first of all, synths themselves, they kind of are the weapon. War synths, they are built with all the tools they need to fight on the front lines, which means energy blades, energy rifles, all these sorts of things are just built into their body. Yeah, they can still like grab a weapon and pick it up, but the big advantage, I guess, is that they've always got it, and also you can't take it off them and use it yourself.
They are the monks of D&D.
The Wraiths have a real penchant for energy blades and energy staves, and the ones they have are quite archaic and different because they've been using star sand to make weapons long before any of the other species of the galaxy. They are actually the first ones. Because they have this rich tradition of doing it a certain way, they're behind the times technologically. Like they haven't adapted to all the new uses that Terrans and synths have come up with for these things. That's not to say that Wraiths can't use any weapon they want.
They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, more
They got
traditionally.
magic. They got more magic stuff.
I mean, more traditionally, like they're going to go for like these funny, big old archaic weapons, big, long, slightly awkward energy staves that they can just
so
utilize
cool.
because their body has specifically adapted to be good at it.
God, I want to be a wraith.
I want to be a wraith, Taylor.
Wraiths. Oops, all wraiths.
Next story, wraith season.
Wraith season.
Now, the Terrans, and by extension, like many of their occupied worlds, they are, I guess, the more familiar equipment because that's generally they use the sort of equipment that Z and Cleo have been using, which is your standard energy blasters, rifles, and the occasional energy blade.
It's easy to replace. That's the thing.
I mean, Harry had a couple of different guns and also an energy baton, which is functionally works the same way as an energy blade, but strikingly different.
Nice. Heck.
Same functionality, I guess, like as Cleo's Ghost Axe, which is, again, one of these, it creates a concussive force when you strike with it, as opposed to an energy blade, which is just this constant burning plasma beam that can cut stuff.
I love
like
that.
Well, Isaac was asking a lot of questions today.
Yeah, he's got some questions in him.
He's got a lot of questions. And that's good because Dick's got a lot of answers, right, Dick? Right. And here's one that I like. Are AI like Reese counted as a synth?
I mean, vaguely off topic, but have we covered that before? No, like Reese technically is not a synth because the synths, they are like a race. They're an artificial species. They are copies of the originator, and they have something which other artificial intelligences don't have, which is an organic like brain. Their brain functions the same way as an organic, as opposed to an AI where they legitimately are like a piece of programming. They're a piece of code that technically can copy everything that a living being will do, but they don't do it the same way. They get there through a different method, through an artificial method.
Okay.
So the distinction is pretty hazy because, like,
but they would still be considered an individual. Is it just because they don't have the spark from the originator that they're not synth?
Well, synths themselves would make that distinction, but I mean, you look at someone, and I say someone like Reese. They clearly have their own wants and dreams and desires, and are an intelligent being.
Yeah, because Reese has always struck me as someone who is an individual.
Yeah, a self-learning artificial intelligence is just as much a person, you could argue. But again, like the synths, they have a real sense of we are something different. We are synthetic life forms. We are not artificial intelligence.
Okay.
But also, in a technical sense, they are artificial intelligence. They just are built much more like a living thing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Brilliant.
Reese is real. Bye.
Yeah. Thanks, Teo. Into that. Dickie, last question's yours.
Also, Jim asked, are there any weapons or pieces of equipment that hinder or buff the user? Like this gun or armor is too heavy so you can't move as fast. Also, since there's supposedly an organic living ship out there, are there living organic weapons or armor?
Heck! How many questions can you put in your questions? I didn't know this was fucking pimp my question going on here.
First question though, pieces of equipment and armor that's too heavy that you can't move as fast. I legitimately came up with that concept earlier in this episode, didn't I?
But also that's Cleo's gun.
Is it?
Cleo's gun is custom rifle made so that only Cleo can use it.
Yeah.
You need a big paw.
Oh, okay.
So if anyone else were to pick it up, they wouldn't be able to fire it with their little hands.
I thought you were saying that like I was slower when I used it, and I was like, "Girl, no."
Yeah, well, it doesn't hinder Cleo.
But girl,
I know that
yes.
Z has used it, but Z got a negative when using it because it was Cleo's
not
custom
for Z,
rifle.
not for Z's,
Not for Z.
not for
But
Z's.
yeah, like armor that's too heavy or armor that you have to like make durability rolls to function with. I kind of dig the idea of that, having like super heavy tank armor to have to like fight your way through it. Yeah, we haven't built anything like that yet, but the custom nature of this universe and the idea that everything you get is slightly different to everything else that everyone else has, that you can make things yourself. I love the idea. Balancing advantages and disadvantages is the essence of a character in Orbital Refuse. Why could it not be the essence of a piece of equipment as well? And I don't know, the second question, organic weapons and armor, there's got to be, right? I think that's super cool. I mean, maybe even the species that the seed, the organic ship, maybe at a certain stage in their lifespan, they can be used as an organic weapon. Like maybe they're a seed, and then they're a sprout, and then suddenly they're a gun, And then
I'm gonna go pick a gun from the gun tree.
I mean, that's a cool idea.
Cleo, these guns don't just grow on trees.
That's like if John Wick was a druid.
Yeah, I love that.
Did I fuck that up?
And in terms
John
of like
Wick was a
organic,
druid, yeah.
organic weapons and armor as well, that's something we'll probably touch on eventually. But that's sort of getting into special powers and alien abilities, which
alien abilities?
Wraith territory, because they are all about developing natural abilities,
These
weapons, and
episodes
armor.
just create more episodes.
We gotta be wraiths.
Yeah, we gotta be.
But there's also, I mean,
raised.
like Z has an alien ability of his mind hacking.
I guess. Z is a guy.
just like
An
I'm just a
alien.
regular dude, just trying to make it on the radio,
But that is an organic weapon, isn't it? He can use his tentacles to just invade someone's brain.
It's not a tree
Yeah.
gun, if that's what you mean.
It's not a tree gun.
It's not
not a
really
tree
a tree gun. Trigun. Tree gun.
But maybe if we sort of get back into those loose threads that are the story surrounding the seed, maybe we'll find some organic weapons.
Okay,
out there.
wait,
Well,
Dick.
heck.
Dick, are we gonna like meet the seed in the future?
Can't answer that question.
Oh,
You have to
shut
leave
up,
that for the
Dan.
story.
Shut up, Dan. Jeez, I was this close.
I mean, it's kind of too good a loose end to not tie up, right?
Oh
we
my
only
God.
saw it as a seed, and we know
That
it
was
grows
the-
into something else.
That was the funnest episode on Earth. That was so fun because you guys were all bad and I was the hero.
You threw it out in the airlock. You just were like,
Yeah.
bah.
I was the hero. You guys were just
I really
You're
like that
always
episode.
the
That
hero,
episode,
Tay.
that episode
Cleo
is
is a
good
hero.
shit.
okay, but I was the hero in a big. I was the hero and the responsible
I
driver.
think if we were to graph out how many times one of us has been the hero, I think Cleo would be the hero a lot more often than anyone else. I mean, you
I
saved
think
me
you're
from
forgetting
the
to
shield.
factor in all the times that I blew us up on purpose.
Yeah, but that's not a negative.
All
That's
right.
just a different. That's a different graph.
It's a different kind of
graph.
heroism.
It's just a different. That's other data.
It's a different set of information.
That's
you
not
know?
a graph. That's a pie chart.
Yeah,
That doesn't affect whether or not she's been the hero.
Exactly. You're a
That's
hero.
a really cool way to look at it, you know, because it's like, hey, you can still be the hero
and blow us up.
and blow us up.
Yeah.
You have to be
I
able.
think it's
That's not a
there's
growth
something
mindset.
about there's something about the character of Cleo, but like it makes it feel like she should often be someone to swoop in and save things for some reason.
because
I feel like
Cleo.
Z is
believes
much more
in
likely to be like,
friendship.
right, well, I'm going to get in here and I'm going to do the admin that nobody is doing because I clearly have to do it myself. Yeah, so it comes around the side and starts fixing all the problems. Unsung hero work, to be honest.
I don't know. I mean, look, I get caught up in the in the role play, and sometimes it's not even until I listen back to the episodes that I go, Cleo was fucking onto something the entire time that I completely missed because I was so focused on being Z. You know, like,
Really?
So focused.
Does that actually happen to you?
100% happens where I listen back to it and I'm like, what the fuck was I on about? Trying to fucking do this like this boring follow the lead, follow the thing.
That's super weird.
But I do
so
like
funny.
having those sort of opposed ideas because that's what makes like a fun friendship and a fun duo is
Oh,
that
100%, yes.
not having them not be carbon copies of one another.
We would be boring if we were the same.
Well, look, as we discussed earlier in this episode, we're fire and water. We're desert and
fire and water.
desert and ocean.
Yeah. Coke.
It's our own
And
take on fire
Pepsi.
and water. Desert and ocean. Come at us, George.
Yeah, George. Who's George? Who's George?
George
George
Song
R.
of
R.
Ice-
Martin.
The R. R. Martin, yeah. Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I think we could take him. I'm not
Yeah,
like
I'm
You
saying
not
that
can,
we're
you,
gonna
you
be
can
a-
talk about fire and water and no one's going to think it's anything to do with him.
Say that we're going to be fucking...
a
yeah.
game of fire and
A game of desert and ocean.
a game
Sand
of
and
sand and
jelly.
yes, a game of sand and ants.
My gosh, well, I don't know about you guys, but I think that's all the listener questions we got.
That's
in our
all the
little
listener
bank there.
questions.
Unfortunately,
That's
it is. It is at this time. That's all we have. And you know what? If you wanted to know more, you should have fucking asked more. So
And you can ask more by sending in your questions to backwaterbastards@gmail.com. Hit us up on the Twitters. Hit us up on Instagram. Join the Discord. It's in the show notes.
literally,
That's where you find the Discord. So guys,
guys.
did you learn anything interesting? Anything that's going to change the way you're going to play in the future? Anything that surprised you?
I learned that we all agree that Boris is asexual and sexy.
I
Dangerous combo.
learned about organic weapons, which I'm deeply intrigued by, and I will be looking for in the future on my loot ventures. I also kind of forgot about energy gloves, and
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
I've remembered about them.
Oh, we should get some for Cleo.
Yeah.
We
Energy
should
gloves are
get
cool.
some energy gloves just
Can you
because, like,
imagine one that extended energy
Yeah.
fucking things over the
Yeah.
claws?
I know.
I mean, Cleo doesn't need them, but
but
I know,
if
I know.
she
they are cool.
had them,
Look, okay, cosmetically
I'm just saying,
would be nice.
would be nice. Would be nice.
I'm
would
just
be
saying
nice.
it would make the whole Zeo ensemble sparkle a little bit more.
Would just be nice. And I found another reason to completely and desperately lust after wraiths. And synths, to be fair.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is a deep interest. And like Reese not being a synth, it was not a question I had, but once it was asked, I was, what is the official response on this question? I
We
was
should
curious.
hang out with Reese more. We should take Reese out for a day
I
out.
still want to have
sometime
like
soon.
a Reese storyline.
Yeah, we should do a little Reese day out soon.
I'm super interested in that.
That's a fun
and
idea.
I feel like we obviously always need the reminders of just how basic shit works, how armor works, and can it scale up.
Yeah.
It's just nice for us because sometimes I feel like the role play goes so hard that I forget that there are rules.
There's a game going on here as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's nice to get all of that as well. Like, these are super helpful for me. And what you don't know, those of you who are listening, I occasionally take notes while we do this.
Yeah.
Because
I've got yellow Post-it notes all over the shop.
I'm over here like, hold on, right? What was that again? What are the available starter weapons?
Yeah. No,
So,
I mean,
yeah.
my Post-it notes are a little bit more about quips and
Yeah.
smart-ass comments. that
You
I
got to
can
be
make.
ready with those.
And while we were doing this, I cleaned up my inventory too. So
Nice.
I hadn't like put on a couple things so that I'd forgotten. So I've cleaned it up.
You tied up. You don't have it in multiple places anymore. It's all in one document.
Yeah, it's all there. It's all there.
All right, then. And what about you, Dickie? What have you
What'd you
got
learn?
excited for and learned?
Oh, I'm really looking forward to some of these things down the line. Definitely, like learning more about wraiths would be great fun. Getting into the seed would be so much fun. But hey, we got things to do first. I think Midspace still has a whole lot to say.
I mean, we're about to go record an episode, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
Is it about mid-space? Kind of.
We're in it.
a little bit. So I guess we should say goodbye. Thank you all for coming and enjoying
Heck,
this
thank
Lore
you.
Dive podcast episode.
Yes.
We'll see you next time.
See
We
you
will.
there.
Bye.
Bye.
Tune in next time for another edge of your seat adventure in space with the Backwater Bastards.
If you enjoy listening, but also have eyes, check out our Instagram, where we post drawings, illustrations, character art from our adventures. Backwater_Bastards. Check out our Instagram on Instagram.